What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 476th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, SBJ. With me is Greg.
Hello, it's State Fair time. I will be going to the State Fair tomorrow. I have the day off, and I'm very excited about it, to eat all the bad foods. And after this very recording, I have to make my list of the things that I want to try so we don't waste time on things that are bad.
That would be a good TikTok, Greg. Top 10 State Fair things.
Yeah,
and then
like, literally everybody else in Minnesota does that. Also, TikTok's a garbage platform, and I don't know why you use it.
Get the
it's
views.
because I like garbage.
Yes, you eat garbage, you ingest garbage both with your mouth and with your eyes.
I make
and with
garbage.
your ears. And then you produce garbage for others to put into their eyes and ears. It's just a bad cycle, and I'm sad that I'm a part of it.
Will is also a part of it.
And I was going to say, we actually need to recharacterize this podcast as it's not Steve, Greg, and Will. It's the one who makes unfounded generalizations, the one with unreasonable expectations, or cheats at Commander.
What?
Take your pick. And
I did not
the
cheat.
one who's sane, reasonable, and correct.
I mean, you cheat at Commander. You
How
were
did I-
like, I'm going to zap this, and I'm going to zap that, and I'm going to just dump this card here, and then zap this out, and then I'm going to dump this over here. Cheater.
It was
I didn't
all in
know
the
there
cards.
was
All I was trying to do was
Magic
make dinosaur
the
cats.
Gathering.
That's all. I was just trying to make dinosaur
Drama.
cats, and nobody wanted to let me make dinosaur cats.
Nobody wanted me to let pull artifacts out of nowhere and put them on the battlefield.
I wasn't in that game.
And nobody wanted me to to bring out angels, including my deck, because I couldn't pull any.
Oh no, Steve. Literally, Greg gets to this one point in the game, and he literally takes like a dry erase board card, draws a heart on it, and says, "Okay, I can't be killed now."
Well,
How is that not cheating?
It's because it was Sierra's ultimate, which you had warned everybody
sure,
about, and nobody did anything about. So I was like, fine, I'll take it. I only have two other ways of doing that in that deck anyways.
Only two other ways.
I feel like we all have. I feel like we all have that friend that always cheats in every like tabletop / board game.
The best.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're all friends with the same guy.
Yeah. The best play I made in that entire game was convincing everybody to go after Vince. Because Vince is 99% the problem at the table. Vince was not necessarily the problem at the table at that game.
I knew it.
I was a bigger problem at the table. But, Vince was more
I am
aggressive
not
than
learning
I
magic.
was. You are.
Feel free to not learn magic. We don't need you.
Vince and I have already planned out the Cat Commander deck, both cute cats and
you
sexy
could
cats.
be making cat dinosaurs. You
Yeah.
could
Okay,
be making
I'm
cat
back in.
dinosaurs.
I'm back
Yeah.
into magic.
We have both types, sexy and cute cats for a deck for you. We've been working on this for months.
Yeah, but what about the Pokemon trading card game?
It's garbage, and the client is garbage, and it's boring. I can't play Rosalia, so I'm out.
What about the Digimon card game?
That's also bad.
Oh, but did you see me opening those cards? They
No,
look so
because
good.
when I was there, you're like, we're going to do it later.
We did it. We opened Digimon cards, and they're
I
great.
wasn't there. So, no, I didn't see it.
Oh, my
I was playing
goodness.
Wilder Myth.
I know a store that has Digimon, so I can
Actually,
direct
no, I
you
was
in
playing.
that direction.
I was playing Magic with Will and not
All right.
cheating.
We got... okay. Wait, before we get to news, this is a good transition. So in card games, sometimes you have to roll dice, right?
Yes.
Correct.
And Will knows this really well. When we played the TCG competitively, I would always import like Japanese card sleeves, and then I imported Japanese dice. And my friend Andrew sent me some Japanese Pokemon dice. So when you played Pokemon competitively, you didn't ever have to roll a die, but you could roll a die instead of flipping a coin. And no one wanted to flip a coin because it was like, no one knows. In reality, no one actually knows how to flip a coin. You'd be like sitting across from the table and they'd be like struggling to put it on their thumb. And then it would be like this really like weak flop. and it would be really easy to weigh, or to what was that called, like weigh a coin?
Yes.
Like you should like shave off half of it so it like more likely lands on heads.
It's easier to cheat at dice.
Wow.
So here's the rule for
They have
Pokemon.
very specific rules about dice in Pokemon. Yes.
So instead of like flipping a coin for heads or tails, you roll a dice. If it's even, it's heads. If it's odds, it's tails. Pretty easy, right? So my friend Andrew sent me these a Pokemon dice that you got at the Pokemon Center, and one was a Pokeball, and then one was Pikachu. So it was like 6 different Pikachu expressions, and then one was just like a Pokeball, and then 5 numbers. And I would bring those to tournaments. Now the rule for play Pokemon is your die. You could use any dice you want, but they had to be translucent. You had to be able to see through them, which obviously these Pokemon Center dice are. And they had to have rounded edges. You couldn't have straight edges. And so I would bring these little 2 Pokemon die to roll at my matches because they have Pikachu on them. Why would you not bring them? They're very cute. Not like barely anyone had them. They were Pokemon Center official in Japan. And this is what every single tournament I went to, and I went to them for 3 years, the opponent would never care that I had these dice until I rolled a heads that gave me the advantage and the win.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, we'd start off the match. He'd be like, heads or tails. To start the match, I'd be like, tails. I roll a heads. They'd be like, all right, I'm going first. Because, they got it right. And then I'd be like, all right, I'm using double slap. Roll the dice. 2 tails. That's 0 damage. Your turn. But as soon as I rolled a way to, like, solidify that I'm probably going to win the game, hand would go up, and they would be like, judge. And they would call a judge over because their strat, oh gosh, I'm getting so mad of this. The strat was I was using custom die, and that was against the rules, and they didn't care. But now that I'm winning, they cared. And I wish I was exaggerating, but this was every single tournament. And every tournament, the judge would come over, and they'd be like, what's the problem? And they would be like, he's using custom dice, probably got it off Etsy or something. And the judges would, thank goodness this was like the one thing the judges ever did right. They would be like, these are official Pokemon Center die. They're tournament legal. And they would like very mad that what I'm saying is we're all playing Magic the Gathering and no longer Pokemon.
I'm not going to play this nightmare game. I'm excited for you to join us on our Commander nights.
I don't know. It sounds like Magic has some problems. You're drawing hearts on cards and...
Commander does away with a lot of the problems, to be honest.
This is true.
Because cards don't go out of favor, and you only have 1 copy of each. It's super fun.
And they banned Hull Breacher before I could ruin a Commander night with it.
They did. Well, that was a bad card.
All right. Let's get into some Pokemon news. First bit of news here is the 25th anniversary is saved. They did it. August 26th, Pokemon.com, Pokemon TV app now available on the Nintendo Switch. We saved it. It's done.
Hooray. The application that has limited Pokemon content is finally on the Twitch.
I never feel as bad/sad as when I look at my list of friends who are online and one of them is watching like the Netflix app on the Switch.
I thought Netflix wasn't on the Switch yet.
Or the YouTube app on the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, is
one
this
of those
really
two.
your
I can't
only
remember which
option?
one it is.
No, I'm pretty sure it's
Really?
Netflix because a bunch of people were saying, oh, they got Pokemon TV on there before they did Netflix, and Pokemon is in Netflix and whatever. Like, look, it's to keep kids entertained, and so you don't have to give them your phone all the time. or
Okay,
your
not
iPad.
kids. Let's be fair. The trailer they showed, they had 2 little kids in the tent, and then they fell asleep, and then the mom was like, well, now it's my turn, and she put on Gen 1, and I was like, this is...
And
it was pretty good. It was a pretty good trailer.
I have no other options, and my phone battery is dead. Yoink. I gotta take the Switch.
I will say the little 30-second trailer they made for it was pretty good. They did show they did do a range of okay, here's mom watching Gen 1, here's kids watching Alola, and then I think they showed maybe 16-year-olds watching, I don't know, Hoenn or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty good trailer. It was funny, we were talking about TikTok before the start of the episode, but I've just scrolled, and the mom that was in that commercial, she made a TikTok, and then she was like, oh, these were my boys, and this was I was able to be the Pokemon commercial. It was really cool. I don't know if her other content was interesting, but it was cool to be she was genuinely excited she was in a Pokemon commercial. It says Pokemon TV is available on mobile devices and tablets and smart TVs. You can now download the app on the Nintendo Switch. Fans have the opportunity to watch selected episodes and seasons of the Pokemon series, journeying with Ash from Kanto to Galar and everywhere in between. Trainers can also brush up their Pokemon TCG strategies by watching matches. I don't know if we ever talked about this, but within the last year or so, they put their official VGC and TCG matches on Pokemon TV too, which, I mean, you can watch those on YouTube as well. Library is always updating, more fun to watch. Additionally, Pokemon TV is launching a junior category, offering videos for young Pokemon fans and trainers, which are those when we say Pokemon is for kids, there's actually a toddler section of Pokemon.
There's the kids section.
There's the actual toddler section. You need to require the internet. Kick off your day by downloading Pokemon TV on the Nintendo Switch today. I mean, whatever. It's cool. It should be on it. Also, the Pokemon trading card game should be on the Switch, but here we are. It's the.
I mean,
when they come out with the revised one.
Yeah. Aren't they getting a new Pokemon TCG thingy with the stuff?
Yeah. Well, I wish there was a lot to talk about here, but there's not.
I mean, I've just been watching my Diamond and Pearl anime on my iPad like an adult.
So this was tweeted by a bunch of accounts, but this is literally all the news we have. It's a tweet. But there's a retailer, I think it was a Spanish retailer. There was a retailer listing for the new Pokemon trading card game coming out, which is called Fusion Strike. And when they have the little information pamphlet about Fusion Strike, it says that there is a new app, Pokemon TCG Live, due to come soon, and that's all. That's all we know. We don't know if that's. It seems very unlikely that's a typo because if they're
right.
New app, here's the new app's name, Pokemon TCG Live. It's not they just called Pokemon Trading Card Game Online TCG Live, which those are not that similar, but they say new app. And there's actually an icon for it, which the Pokemon Trading Card Game Online icon it's a dark blue with a yellow border, and then I think there's a Pokeball in the middle. I don't even remember what it looks like, but this new app is 2 little cards with Pokeballs on them and then a light blue background. So the icon is different, the name is different, and Fusion Strike is due out. Okay, it's August. October, November. Fusion Strike should be due out in November, December, I think. Every 3 months. So that would be by the end of the year?
Yes, we are in agreement.
Yep.
This is the one thing I've wanted for a long time.
Is it better?
That is not true. There are many things that you've wanted for a long time, but this
is
one of the things that you have been most vocal about wanting.
I'm not even my TCG days are behind me, right?
Only with that negative attitude, I started playing the TCG when I was older than you are right now.
That's true. Like, I don't think I would ever get back into like the competitive Pokemon. Well, like,
What about when your kids are going to Pokemon tournaments and
Oh, and
regionals,
then
and you're
I'm
gonna
the
be a
Pokedad.
Pokedad? Yes,
Yeah.
and
yes,
I'm the
sir.
one like talking their ears off,
Yeah.
and then as soon as I start losing, I become rude and disrespectful
You are
to
the
them.
you also start cheating because it doesn't matter. I'm just a Pokedad. What I do
Judge.
doesn't count.
Judge, this 10-year-old is using illegal dice. Judge.
No. This is the thing, Greg. This is like one of the key things that drove me out of playing the Pokemon TCG is like the Pokedads are all in the Masters group, which is literally, what is it, like 16 years old
16
and older,
plus.
right?
Yeah.
And when they're winning, they take the game seriously. When they're losing, they cheat and they say things like, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm just here because my kids are here. And
Yeah, but you have to. The important part is that divide of cheating / seriously doesn't happen until about halfway through the match.
Exactly.
The first like 5 minutes, they're like buddy with you, like you're about to get like coffee with them after the match. But like, there's this hard divide where they either become serious and like don't talk to me, or like bitter and I'm cheating now.
Yep.
They have one human interaction given to them that's with an adult and not with children involved. And you're a part of it. And it's going to go their way or they're going to get cranky. Look, if I was locked in a house with my children 24/7 and the one time I got to go out and play a game with a fellow adult, it got bad, heck yeah, I'm cheating.
Oh.
This is my one chance for glory before I
Greg,
have to go get to be stepped on by my children.
If you ever want to get a Pokedad and a Pokemon, it applies to all. If you seriously want to tilt them, let them know that you're there and you don't have kids.
Oh yeah, that's my joy. That is my joy in life. My joy in life is telling people who are trying to control their kids. I go, I made different life choices. I can leave you now, and I can lock my dogs up at home, and nobody calls social services on me because that's what you do to dogs. You put them into a cage. Can't do that with your kids, can you?
Pokemoms are much rarer than Pokedads, but they are
True.
I have had some brutal Pokemoms. They will, like, I feel like the Pokedads, like, they get like huffy and puffy, but the Pokemoms, they will tell you right to their face that they're unhappy, that they can't believe they're losing to you.
Heck has no fury like a Pokemon scorn.
They make you rethink what you're doing with life. Pokemon TCG Live, good name, very simple, understand. Hopefully this is a new app. There's a lot of speculation here. Is it going to import everything from Pokemon Trading Card Game Online? Probably. It seems like it would be pretty easy to import your database. The fact that Pokemon Trading Card Game Online has existed since 2012, I believe. It is 10 years old, whatever, a decade old. The fact that that app even works is a miracle. If that app can remember all of your cards, I am sure that it's just some Excel CSV that you can export and then import into the new one.
That's where Janine went after she left Pokemon Go calendar. She moved over to databasing on the Excel spreadsheet.
So like, is this a new app? Is it being made by Direwolf Digital? Is it going to be able to import your stuff? Is it going to be restricted to iOS, Android? Is there a PC app? Is there a Mac app? Is it coming to the Nintendo Switch? I'm excited, but there's too many questions at this point.
I know somebody who works at the
possibilities.
Pokemon Company International who really, really loves a particular type of omelet that you can get at IHOP. I think they can be persuaded to spill the beans.
Ooh. Of what? I know who you're talking about. When I talked to them,
he's like, I know who you're talking about.
When I talked to them at Worlds, which was too long ago, gave them a hug. It was like, good to see you again. And I was like, I know you can't say anything, but the Pokemon Trading Card Game Online is hot trash. And they said, yes, we know.
They winked. They gave you double wink and elbow tap.
Tell no one about what I am about to tell.
Brandon from our Slack sent in the Pokemon TV. Chris from our Slack sent in the Pokemon.
You got to be more specific about the Brandon, because there's like 8 Brandons at this point.
They know who they are.
They know who they are.
They know who they are. Okay. Will is active in the conversation, so let's not do Pokemon Masters. Otherwise, we're going to lose Will for the rest of the show.
No, do what you need to do. I
mean,
have
there's not
blocked
much. It's
so
a
many
2-year
people on
anniversary.
Twitter that now you guys are having Twitter conversations about Pokemon Masters. I only see half of them. Half because I blocked the other half of the conversation. Sorry, Oreos lovers. You've made your own choices.
Our audience gets so excited to talk to Will and Greg. No one in our audience is excited to talk to me.
I'm going to make a correct... Nobody really reaches out to me. They reach out to Will, and then Will's like, block.
But Will,
For no good reason.
But Will is
no good reason. And I'm like the nicest person in the world.
Wait. If I literally say on... This is the problem. People don't understand that I'm not a euphemizer. If I say on Twitter, if you send me pictures of Oreos where half of it is chocolate and the other half is vanilla, I will block you. And then you send me a picture of an Oreo where half is chocolate and half is vanilla, the next thing that happens is I block you. I wasn't making that up.
People get so excited when Will pops in the Twitch stream and he ignores all of them.
That is not true.
Which, I understand.
That is not true. I get tilted because I make jokes in the Twitch stream and you ignore them.
Oh,
and then I'm like, well,
the
Steve's
time.
just going to ignore me. I'm here
out.
for this.
That is not true. What
That
I'm
is
saying
true.
is
You ignore us all the time.
It happened last night.
You sound like 50% annoyed that I bothered to come in because you're like, this isn't Sunday. I want to talk to you.
No, I love when you guys come in. I love it. I really do. I'm just saying that.
Anyways, you
Season
can reach
of
out to the
mischief.
nice person. Me, I will talk to you. Don't go to the mean person.
Yeah. Whoever that is. PokemonGoLive.com, Season of Mischief. Okay, we have a lot to talk about. Let's get the Season of Mischief out of the way first, because that will be from September 1st through the rest of the year, because seasons are 4 months. 4 months? 3 months? 4 months?
3 months. 3 months.
3 months.
4 in a 12-month period, and that's 3.
Trainers, strange events in Pokemon Go continue in the Season of Mischief. The season will focus around the adventure of featuring Hoopa, the Mischief Pokemon, which you will be able to encounter early in this season's special research story, Misunderstood Mischief. When Hoopa summons a legendary Pokemon in Pokemon Go, when Hoopa summoned the legendary Pokemon in Pokemon Go during Go Fest, time and space were distorted. Hoopa also brought Pokemon originally discovered in the Galar region to Go for the first time. Be sure to follow along during the season to see what else will happen. This will go from September 1st through December 1st. And you will be able to access parts of the season's special research story when certain events began. The special research story will focus on discovering more about Hoopa and the strange occurrences happening throughout the season, so stay tuned and follow along in the story. If you complete the season's special research, you will gain access to a special event at the end of the season that might have something to do with Hoopa. Hoopa cannot be transferred to Pokemon Home for now. Trainers unable to play during the season can find Hoopa may be available again in the future. So let's start here. Not a lot of people have Hoopa. I mean,
you just had to go to McDonald's like 500 times.
Yeah, like what was the problem here?
I did it. I witnessed
if you
that in a McDonald's parking lot, not getting their food because gross, and did my stuff on 4 different cartridges, and then I left.
There was 2 Hoopa distributions. One was the McDonald's one. One was the Year of Mythical one, I believe.
Yeah.
Correct.
So this would be the 3rd mythical distribution, technically, I guess. I don't think the transferring to home is that big of a deal, because it literally says something will happen at the end of the season, and I'm assuming you're probably going to need Hoopa to I'm guessing one of the tasks is take a picture of Hoopa, and then once that research is probably over, you'll be able to transfer it. So I don't think it's the end of the world. In that regards,
because Hoopa is destroying the world with his hoops.
because they do say Hoopa cannot be transferred to Pokemon Home for now.
Yeah.
So I think we're good there. The revamped Pokemon Go Live lays this out very well. And they updated it where instead of being like, you can find Jigglypuff, Slowpoke, Chikorita they have like little pictures of them, so it's very nice. What do we have here? So we have the season of mischief begin. Hoopa will play pranks on the team leaders and Professor Willow by taking his glasses. It is up to you to learn more about the mischief Pokemon. Why is it so mischievous? And what else does it have in store for the season? Complete the seasonal special research to catch Hoopa on Sunday, September 5th. Strange phenomenon will be happening around the world. And then it says the following type of Pokemon will be attracted to incense. So they're doing that thing. So on September 5th, they're doing the from 11 to 12, you attract psychic Pokemon. From 12 to 1, you attract dark Pokemon. And so you'll have Execute, Jinx, Natu, Spoink, Girafarig, Munna, Beldum for the psychic hours, and for the ghost and dark you'll have Alolan Rattata, Poochyena, Duskull, Purloin, Sableye, Carvanha, and then Drifloon. And there will be a collection challenge during this time. The collection challenge will reward you with Hoopa candy and the Pokeball Lift Avitator pose. You will also earn twice the candy from transferring, and you will have a free bundle of incense in the shop. And if you complete event-exclusive research, you will earn rare candy and a variety of Pokeball types.
Pokeball Lift Avatar pose. What is it? Do we
Also,
know?
so Avatar was one correction, although I suspect that maybe Aviator is in there. Are you sure? Is it?
No, it's not.
Just Avatar? The word is mischievous.
Mischievous.
No, there's no extra I in there. I am out for mischief. I'm mischievous.
Okay. Whew. Glad we got our education lesson
There
today.
are young folks listening to this program. I want them to learn words the right way.
So for this season, the Northern Hemisphere will get Jigglypuff, Slowpoke, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Totodile, Bidoof, and Autumn Deerling. I'm sorry, Greg. The Southern Hemisphere
So mad about this. The
is
minute
getting
I saw it, I'm like, this is the worst.
Roselia,
It's the worst.
Snivy.
In the south. I'm in the north.
They have summer there, don't they, right now?
No, right
it's gonna be
now they
spring.
are going into spring.
Spring, because they're coming out
Oh,
of
they're going
winter.
into spring. They have Snivy, Tepig, Ottawa, Timepole, and Spring. Well, that makes sense. Spring Deerling.
Spring and autumn.
And then they're putting the Nidorans, Barboach, and Drifloon in 2K eggs and more. They're putting Steel, Pineco, Sableye, Chingling in 5K eggs. They're putting Audino and Fu into 10K eggs. Adventure Sync is still bad. I have something to say about this, but Adventure Sync for 5K, they're putting in the Shieldon, Cranidos, and then Frillish. And then the 10K is Riolu, Dino, Noibat. I also don't like what they're doing with Mega Evolution here. They're giving a whole month to Slowbro, a whole month. So Slowbro is September, Gengar's October.
Hey, for the first time they did Ghosts in October. Good job. It only took
them
5 years.
The 25th anniversary saved. Houndoom in November. I think that's I'm not 100% sure what they're thinking with this. Maybe I'll ask them. But people already don't like mega raids because they would rather spend their raid passes on a legendary raid, which I get. I can see both sides. I mean, maybe the thought process is 1 or 2 weeks isn't enough. And then people feel well, the week's almost over. They need to do 3 Slowpokes. So if we do the whole month, maybe they can at least do 1 a week, and by the end of the month they have everything. But for me, I'm literally literally 10 candy away from Mega Evolving Altaria, and I'm just thinking, like, that's 90 days of me still not getting Mega Altaria.
Walk with
Like,
it.
no, because you can't walk with it
I
until
know.
once you Mega Evolve it.
Here's the thing. The thing that is throwing me off is their 3-month seasons are different than what I'm used to at work. So I expected this to be October, November, December because you're closing out the year. But there's a September, October, November, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's
this
offset.
this is weird. Why are you doing it? I mean, it's fine. It just is weirding me out a lot.
Well, technically, winter does start in December. They're really not wrong.
December 21st,
Yeah.
the end of December. There are 10 days left of December that are winter.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they can like do events to be like, hey, this weekend Mega Altaria spawning or something. It just, I don't.
Or they could just make a general Mega Candy. Can
Yeah.
they just make a general Mega Candy that can be applied to all of them?
Just after raids, have it like be the raid candy, and you can choose which mega you want to apply the candy to.
Yeah, I think
Problem solved. 25th anniversary saved.
I genuinely like megas in Pogo. Like, it's so much more interesting than they were in like X and Y. In X and Y, the only thing you could do is like Mega Evolve, roast that Caterpie on a route, and then like Mega Evolve against the Elite Four, and then like Mega Evolve in like PvP battle. That's all you could do in those games. Like, unless I'm wrong, I don't think you could like Mega Evolve and then like do that X and Y soccer mini game, right?
Correct.
Where like you could
I have
only
no
Mega.
idea. I don't even remember the soccer minigame.
What? I played the heck out of that. That's the only way to get some of the like evolution items that you need. Man, you bring Talonflame into that game? Heck yeah.
That soccer mini game was like mostly for EV trading, wasn't it?
Well, it did that too, but you would get rewards for different
that
like
one. Yeah, I did that.
if you needed some evolution items, you could get them.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
easiest way
yeah.
to get them was as rewards for playing that game.
I thought we were talking about, because I was thinking black and white of it's Nimbasa City that has the soccer field or the baseball
Oh, yeah.
field. And I was like, what mini game was there?
Baseball and basketball.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever. What? It was sports and sports.
You
How
could
dare you whatever
you couldn't even,
anything
like,
from
Mega
Black and White,
Evolve-
sir.
I'm not. Black and white
You-
was great. I'm whatever sports.
like you couldn't even Mega Evolve and like pet them, right? Like Pokemon Refresh or Me, you couldn't.
No,
No.
I don't remember you could.
It
No.
was only in battle. So like when you Mega Evolve and Go, you could walk with them. They could follow you. You get the bonuses when you catch. They're great for Team Rocket battles. They're great for raids. Like you could take pictures of them. I like it. I like it a lot. It feels like a good use of the 8 hours. I'm into it. But no one else cares about no one else cares about megas.
No. Nobody does.
Okay, Ditto transformations. There seems to be species where so Ditto can be a Ghastly, Drowsy, a Remoraid, a Teddy Ursa, Gulpin, a Numel, the Stunk. I can't remember that thing's name.
Stunky.
Dwebble, Stunky, and Fungus. Now
Fungus.
Niantic did say that. So some of these Pokemon can be shiny. So like Drowsy, Ghastly, Dwebble, they can be shiny. If they're shiny, they cannot be Ditto. So they did fix
good.
this. So
I
if
feel like-
you find a shiny Drowsy,
Oh,
you don't have to
man.
worry about it turning into a Ditto.
When it,
So
turned, it
I-
wouldn't even turn into a shiny, did it? Would it? It'd just be like, ha.
I don't think so. I can
What
get
a
clarification
jerk
on that,
move.
but I
Wait
saw
a
like
minute.
3 content creators all tweet that like, hey, if it's shiny, it can't be Ditto.
If Ditto is shiny when in the regular game, and then it transforms into the opponent, does it stay shiny?
I don't think so.
That's silly.
I know.
Ditto, your shiny Ditto in Pokemon Go, I believe, turns into the shiny version.
Oh, does it?
I think so.
I don't know.
'Cause
I don't think it did. I don't think it does in the game. Does it?
I don't know.
The thing that they need to change in the main series games is when the Ditto transforms into the other Pokemon, it still needs to have the Ditto face. That would be.
That is an anime-specific thing only. That they
Yeah,
just
but
keep
I'm
saying
so
happens
into it.
everywhere.
It's so good.
Only that Ditto was bad at being a Ditto.
I like bad Ditto. I'm into that. Okay. That is the part 1 of the season of Mischief. I think for a lot of, I would assume, or maybe hope for a lot of people that are maybe like casual Pogo, or maybe they took a break from Pogo. I feel like Hoopa is a pretty good draw. I mean, like, it's a mythical. Not a lot of people have the mythical, or people do, but the people who don't have the mythical really like to remind you that they don't have it, and they're still looking for it. I understand. It sucks when you're missing one Pokemon. And it seems, I mean, usually a special research story is, well, they say season-long special research story. Well, so we'll see. I know there was a huge debate about, like, hey, I paid $10 to get Shiny Mew, and now this task takes me, like, 3 months. But they also said that was supposed to be long. I mean, well, they didn't say it's supposed to be long, but they kind of, like,
it will be long.
They hinted that it's going to be long, so. We have more Pokemon Go news, and then we're going to talk about the distance stuff, which was, you know, a big thing from 2 weeks ago because we skipped it last week. So we will be right back. Hey, what do you guys think about pumpkin spice? Pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice frosted flakes.
Pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice mini wheat.
Pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice frosted flakes.
Pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice.
Pop tarts. Pumpkin spice Coke.
Get
Ready for
Pumpkin spice Dr. Pepper.
nice.
pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice frosted flakes.
Pumpkin spice. We got the peppermint mocha. And we are back from our break, coming in September. Okay, so Season of Mischief, 3 months. They're changing some things here. Every Monday in September, you're going to get one coin bundle, giving you a free remote raid passes and some other stuff. So that's back. That's cool. Nature is healing because Lugia will be back in raids, finally.
It's been so long.
Who, at this point playing Pokemon Go, has not done at least 20 Lugia raids? I'm sure Ho-Oh is right around the corner here.
Ho-Oh is always around the corner. Where there's the Lugia, there's a Ho-Oh.
Lugia will have the attack Aerial Blast, will appear from September 1st through September 14th. This is how I'm done. I'm not falling for it. Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf will be appearing in 5-star raids between the 14th through October 1st. They will be shiny this time around. I think this is the third time they
could be shiny.
They could be
could
shiny.
be. If you're lucky, they could be. Only if you're lucky. If you're not lucky, you're not.
Never that lucky.
So they introduced the Lake Spirits initially, right, to their respective region. Mesprit is Europe, Middle East, Africa, India. Azelf is America and Greenland. Shout out to maybe the 2 people we have in Greenland that listen to the podcast. Uxie is the Asia Pacific area. First time, there was no remote raid passes. You just did them. Second time they came around, you could remote raid pass into them. This is the third time. You can remote raid pass. They could be shiny. I really personally don't think it's that different than anyone else. I mean, people are like, oh, it's region specific, but I feel like most of our audience, at least our audience, is just remote raid pass central. So what does it matter if it's like they're using remote raid passes for Zacian, they're using remote raid passes for Dialga. So it's really
I mean, there are a lot of people that use it. I think it's helpful when you can get it for coin because people have been inviting me and I'm like, I'm out of passes. So
Yeah.
no.
It is
I'm
definitely
not
helpful to
spending
be
money.
like, I'm only going to use my free raid pass. If you want to join me, that's fine. I'm not spending
Yeah.
money, but you
And
can't do
also,
that for 2 of the 3 here.
PSA, if you invite me to a remote raid and I go, and
Will
I
block you on
invite
Twitter.
you.
Yeah.
No, and I invite you to a remote raid, and you don't show up. Well, now we're gonna have words,
Also,
friends.
just if you're going to invite me, give me a heads up on something other than the game, because it's always so delayed, and I get the message, and I'm like, well, I'm sure I got this after the time of joining that lobby is over, because it is not good at updating me. So just, hey, Instagram, Twitter, Slack, wherever you can find me, say, hey, do you want to do this road rage patch? I'm going to invite you, and I can say yes or no.
I just can't. I just cannot care about the lake spirits enough to be like, I'm going to shiny hunt these.
I mean, you say
There
that
was
now.
a point in Pogo where they were introducing like one shiny every 2 weeks or like one shiny a month. And I would be like, oh, cool. Shiny hat Pikachu, party hat Pikachu. I'm going to go out after stream. I'm going to go to the 3rd Ward in Milwaukee. I'm going to walk around for a couple hours because I'm going to get Pikachu nonstop. I'm going to get the shiny, and then I'm going to be like, never have to do that again. And then they released too many shinies, and then I stopped doing that, where it's like, I just can't care about shiny Geodude at this point. Releasing 3 legendary shinies in a 2-week period, I just can't. It's been a full week. I haven't even done a Zamazenta yet. I cannot.
Oh, wow, I have.
If you hate your wallet and you love shinies and you want to get all 3, I don't know if I have respect for you, but
I mean,
you do that grind.
just at this point, just call out Bobby.
There
Because
you
that's
go.
what you're doing. And I know Bobby's going to text you and be like, hey, I'm going to do a bunch of these raids. Do you want to join me? And you're going to resist for 0.2 seconds before you're like, yeah, I'll do it.
To be fair, we always throw Bobby under the bus, and I love doing it. To
Yeah,
be
'cause
fair,
Bobby is incredible. I love Bobby a lot.
Bobby has invited me to raids, and I have said, nah, I'm good. And I have invited Bobby to raids, and he has said, nah, I'm good.
Okay.
So,
All I have to say is, number one, Bobby's so cute.
Oh, heck yeah. Hey, heck yeah.
But this is my shout out to Bobby. We all know you're an accountant. The IRS knows you're an accountant. That money for all that Pokemon Go has to be coming from someplace.
hey,
I don't need to put those pieces together.
shout out to Bobby and Al. Obviously, we're an hour into this episode, and we haven't talked about Diamond and Pearl or Arceus. Probably won't be able to, but we did a bonus podcast on Patreon this past week where it's 90 minutes with Bobby and Al. We go all through Diamond and Pearl and Arceus and that kind of stuff. So if you want to support the show and if you want to get 2 bonus podcasts a week, patreon.com/PKMNcast, you'll be able to get these month's episodes and last month's episodes and the months before. But then obviously when September is coming, 2 more bonus podcasts. So if you want more Diamond and Pearl / Legends content, if you didn't get enough with our 3-hour episode, there's another 90 minutes.
Say, we did 3 hours.
And we did
What
another
more do you
90
want
minutes.
from us.
So if you want more, $5 gets you that. It gets you other bonus podcasts. You could wait. I mean, ideally, this episode's coming out on August 30th. I maybe would just wait till September 1st so you don't get charged twice. But that being said, it's not like we're not ever going to talk about Diamond and Pearl and Legends, just probably not this week since there wasn't really any new developments or anything. But yeah, that's in Patreon right now. In addition to Mega Evolved Pokemon, Mega Slowbro will appear between September 1st through September 14th, and they're doing Mega Houndoom from September 14th to October 1st, even though they said Mega Houndoom was coming in December. I don't get it. Sure, Niantic.
Oh, I have a lot to say about their decision-making process.
Okay, so the Spotlight Hour is September 7th will be Spoink, twice the Stardust. September 14th will be Baltoy, twice the XP. September 21st will be Skitty, twice the candy for catching. September 28th, Alolan Meowth, twice the transfer of Pokemon. September Community Day will be Oshawott. Oshawott will be appearing more frequently in the wild and near Pokestops with rainy lure modules. You will have up to 2 hours after the event to learn the charge attack of Hydro Cannon. Samurott will also be able to learn the signature account Razor Shell via Charge TM during and after the event. So is this the first time we get 2? No, I think Charizard had something with like Dragon Breath or something like this. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Hoopa's one-day event will take place Sunday, September 5th. We talked about that. That's the Psychic, then the Ghost, then back to the Psychic. The Psychic Spectacular will start on Wednesday, September 8th through September 13th. Some familiar faces will be returning, and another Pokemon will make its Pokemon GO debut. Which will it be? Here's a hint. Be careful of revolving too much of your life around one thing. You might find that it could overturn at a moment's notice. Am I dumb? What is this? Alcremie? Overturn?
Kirby's not psychic.
Does it have to be psychic?
Yeah, it's a Psychic
sounds like a
Spectacular.
Pokemon of the Week clue again.
Is Niantic stealing your content, Will?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, absolutely,
Or
they
maybe
are.
they secretly paid me
Okay,
to write
so it
that
says
for
it's
them.
debuting during the Psychic Spectacular.
Right.
The hint is be careful of revolving too much of your life around one thing. It could overturn at a moment's notice.
Wait
And
a
I feel
minute.
like we're limited to Gen 6 Pokemon and Gen 8 because they skipped Gen 7. I wish I had more time to think about this before we started the show. I didn't read that one
Yeah,
line.
I mean,
Wait,
I'm trying to go through what is in the game now. Because Solosis is in the game, yeah?
Solosis is in the game, yeah.
but that's not about revolving or overturning.
Pumpkaboo? No, let's go. Well, let's go.
Malamar.
Oh,
Malamar.
Malinke.
Yeah, it's Inkay.
Because it's a dark and psychic and ghost event initially.
Yeah.
So wait, what is
Solved
the
it.
overturn? The overturn is
you
probably
have-
turn your phone upside down.
Well,
Well,
type of
also,
thing.
Malamar is the overturning Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's its species.
Oh well. When I thought it was gonna be something exciting, and then it was just Inkay, and Inkay is not that exciting of a Pokemon.
Dang!
Inkay
Wait,
is
you
very
nuts?
exciting.
That
You don't
is
like? You guys like
awesome.
Inkay? It's
Inkay,
okay.
is, Inkay is the revolving Pokemon.
Inkay becomes a Cthulhu nightmare.
Can we
And
talk
it's
about-
amazing?
But also, like, a Pokemon that has, like, interesting ability. It's an
Yeah.
interesting typing. It does cool stuff.
Can we talk about the actual good Gen 6 Pokemon, which is Furfru?
What?
What about it?
Furfru is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
What-
that normal type gym leader thing? Was that a TikTok or was that an Instagram reel?
Yes. It's on all of them.
Oh, dang. That was really good.
That was very good. I send Steve good things. He's like, it's too long. I'm like, listen here, short attention span theater.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I need it short. Okay. So Fashion Week is coming. Stylishly dressed Pokemon will be making their debut, along with fluffy and fashionable. Furfru.
Yeah,
Strut
Furfru
your
is coming.
stuff with these fashionable styles. Okay, so when real talk, when Gen 6 came out, I didn't really like Furfru. Didn't really get it. The thing that really sold me on Furfru was when the Ultra Recon Squad had a Furfru and they didn't understand it, and then they like, if you didn't have the right Pokemon, that Furfru was almost unbeatable because of its ability, because it had like super high defense. And you were like level 14.
I mean, the Furfru couple in X and Y are the Nuzlocke Enders because Furfru is a beast.
So Fashion Week is September 21st through September 28th.
What do you mean you didn't get it? It's a super cute it's a super cute fluffy dog.
Oh, it's a poodle. It's not an Afghan.
Yeah, it's a poodle. I say it was an Afghan. It could be, but it's a poodle.
Team Rocket's boss seems to be missing something. Where's Giovanni gone? We hope he's not planning something in the shadows. Be sure to keep an eye out for an update throughout the season. Super Rocket radars will not be available to track down Giovanni during the time, so no need to keep them equipped. There's also a new evolution preview coming. Battlers, rejoice. You will soon be able to preview your Pokemon's post-evolution CP before you evolve it. This new evolution screen will display the following: the current Pokemon and its CP, the Pokemon's evolution and its new CP, and which leagues the evolved Pokemon would be qualified for. This new feature will go live sometime in September. We hope it will help you better determine which Pokemon to power up. I love this. It still doesn't fix the problem of locking.
Yeah.
There needs to be a way to lock a Pokemon so you don't accidentally power it up or you don't accidentally evolve it, where you can like tag it and that tag locks it of like, this is only Great League. You can't accidentally overpower it. You can't accidentally hit the evolve button. I don't know. It doesn't say that it does that, but I feel like that is the thing I need is, why am I keeping this certain Squirtle? I tagged it GBL. But then I accidentally transferred it or accidentally like powered it up too much. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me problem. But I feel like
problem. I don't battle league until I have to, and I go in and do my one thing and I'm like, thanks, I'm out.
Okay, so those are all the changes with the Season of Mischief. I did go to the Niantic Task Force meeting. I am allowed to talk about it. You probably saw other content creators slightly talk about it. The one thing I'm going to give it to Greg and Will to ask me questions because I'm not sure exactly what to say that I haven't already said. But the only thing I'm not allowed to say is who I talked to. There were a bunch of Niantic people. I'm not allowed to give their names or give away who they were. That was the one request that Niantic said. I have had plenty of meetings with Niantic before. For whatever reason, Niantic is a weird company. They didn't really want us to talk about it in this situation because of, I guess, maybe the blowback. They were like, you're allowed to talk about this. This is just the rule. This is just our one request.
Maybe it's because people on Twitter then go after
that's probably why, actually. Why. I mean, Liz has left the company. We talked about this before. I don't think it's because of the issues. Obviously, you know, when you work for a tech company for 3, 4, 5 years, really the only way to move up is by going to a different tech company. This is kind of all jobs, honestly, not really limited to tech. So I think at this point, it's kind of hard. I would assume that the people I'm talking to, they probably don't have a Twitter presence or don't want people to find them on Twitter. Niantic reversed the decision of the 40 back to 80. It was specifically they only rolled out the revert. They reversed it only in America and in New Zealand. New Zealand, a very small country, of course, and they like a couple days before the America one, they switched back it in New Zealand first, and then America was the only country that had the 40 to 80. Before I tell you what Niantic told me.
Wait, and 40 to 80 means from you had to be 40 feet from a Pokestop in order to be able to interact with it to 80 feet from a Pokestop.
No, well, technically 20 because the 40 is the diameter.
Okay.
So it's 20 all around.
So you had to be within 20 feet of a Pokestop to interact with it.
Not feet.
Meters.
I don't know what a meter is in a foot. Is 1 meter
like 3 feet to a meter, just about.
3 feet to
okay, so 1 meter is 3 feet.
So they went from 60 feet to interact with a Pokestop to 240 feet to interact with a Pokestop.
That's a lot of feet.
Not 240, 120 feet. 60 to 120. There you go.
Roughly. I mean, it's a little bit more, but whatever.
So I think some of the problem with the lack of communication is people wildly speculate of why these things were made. And it did bother me that the thing I saw a lot was like the reason that Niantic went from 80 to 40 was because of sponsored stops, and sponsored stops made their money. And then when this reversed, they were like, see, it was about money. And it's like, that doesn't make your logic 3 weeks ago about how it was sponsored stops and your logic now about how it's money doesn't make any sense. Because even if you think like, well, they reversed it because of money, spoiler, they didn't. If you sincerely believe they reversed it because they didn't make enough money in the last 3 weeks, what? Are you one? You have to be American because you have to be so selfish and so clueless that this is a worldwide game, and only yeah, I guess you could include New Zealand, but New Zealand is so tiny compared to the rest of the world. But like, you have all of China, you have all of Japan, you literally have the entire world still at 80. And you're saying that America had don't get me wrong, I'm sure America is top 3, maybe top 5 countries that make money for Niantic. But also, they reversed it in a time where there was, like, no shiny Darkrai, no shiny Deoxys. Like, there wasn't really a lot happening, like, this last month, where people would be, like, they already spent all their money on Dialga and Palkia. Like, I cannot imagine. And again, Niantic told me it wasn't about money. It was, I can give you the reason in a little bit. But the speculation was like, oh, this was all about money. But your logic of the beginning of it, now the end of it, just doesn't make sense.
Right. It is not a logical conclusion. But, I mean, people aren't looking for logical conclusions. And when you told me their reason, I also said, that's not a logical reason.
It's not.
I disagree with Greg on that.
When you told me the reason, it made me so angry. And it still makes me angry.
I think at the end of the day, everyone's human and everyone makes dumb decisions. Yes. And there are plenty of huge companies, Apple, Microsoft, whatever, that make
terrible decisions.
They make dumb decisions.
Yes.
And so here's their reason. And when they said it to me, I was like, this makes sense. Even though I'm not defending it, it is still dumb. But it at least made sense. So they started off the meeting and they said, before they even told us the reason, they said one of the most frequently asked questions was, is this because of sponsored Pokestops? And they said, no, it wasn't. And they said, I'm paraphrasing here, they said sponsored Pokestops is a small part of our business, and it had nothing to do with this decision at all. Which we've said on the show before that I said I don't think it's sponsored Pokestops because what was the last new sponsored Pokestop you saw in America? Name one. Like, I remember the Starbucks deal. I remember the Sprint deal. That, like,
I thought I saw a variety.
They had like a 2-day Grubhub thing at one point. Like, what? Like,
I thought it was DoorDash. Was it Grubhub? Whatever.
Oh, they're all
geez,
one company.
No, there was
whatever.
One of those. I'm sure they'll buy each other eventually. So their reasoning for changing it back was 2 things. Number one, it's the reason that everyone had is, well, it worked for 4 years and people played the game. And I do get it from that aspect of, like, we want to get back to where that was because that's what the thing that worked. But I think we all can agree now that nothing will ever be the same with COVID, right? Like, there is no...
Well, and
there is no, like, definite end date to COVID.
There's no definite end date to any of it, but also it's like saying you all liked HMs for 7 generations, so for generation 9 we're going back to HMs because it worked then.
Thank goodness, I miss the HMs so much.
Like, it is such it is one of those things where I'm like, when you make an improvement and people really like it, to go back and say, well, it worked for 4 years, so why don't you like it now? It's like, because we saw a better world. We got a better thing. And saying it was fine for
Greg.
4 years is so infuriating. But that's not the one that really makes me mad.
And that's what bothered me about my Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. It's like, you introduce character customization, you started getting rid of HMs, and it's like, well, we did this because that's how the Gen 3 was, and we want you to live through it again. And it's like, no, I don't want to live through that again. You figured it out over the years. Why are we doing it? And that's why I was so excited with Diamond and Pearl. I was like, cool, you brought back character customization. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's not the biggest thing. We don't know about HMs.
It could be back.
So to be fair, and I will say this, I'm not defending Niantic. I'm just trying to be transparent as possible because Niantic is very bad at the transparency. I don't know if the people I talked to in the meeting were the actual decision makers, right? They just gave me their reasons. They just talked it out.
True. It could just be public
I can't tell you how many people I talked to or who was in the Zoom call, but I don't know if the people there were like, hey, this was our decision, or hey, we have like 18 bosses that said we had to do it this way. I don't know. I don't know that. But they said, okay, so here's the actual reason, besides the like, well, it worked for 4 years. Let's go back to that. The actual reason is they showed us a picture of a Pokestop. On like somebody at Niantic walked to this Pokestop. They stood 20 meters away. I'm going to say 20 meters because remember, it's not 40 meters because that's the circumference or whatever.
It's radius, not diameter. Diameter, not radius.
So they stood 20 meters away from this horse statue, and then they took a picture of it. And then they walked 40 meters away because 80 is the new distance, and they took a picture of it down the street. They were in like some like small downtown area, and you couldn't see the horse statue because they were down the street. And then they took it from like the east side, and you couldn't see the horse statue at all because there was like a library or a building in the way. And then they showed another thing. So their logic, and again, this makes sense even though Greg disagrees with it. Their logic is, I don't agree with it either, but I have a different reason why I don't agree with it than Greg does. Their logic was our game is you in the real world interacting with Pokestops, and if you cannot see the Pokestop, that doesn't really make sense because like you're spinning the horse statue, but you can't see the horse statue. So that's why that's why they wanted the 40 instead of the 80, because if you can't see the stops they're spinning, how are you like interacting with it? And we're like, okay, so what we took away from that is you have a worldwide game. You want people to go outside. We get that. And so your distance was based off, can I see the object I'm spinning? And yeah, if you're 80, there could be a building between you and the thing, so you don't know exactly what you're spinning.
It was not based off of that. I have been in corporations for 25 years, and I can smell we need to justify this decision line, and that's what that is. Because in my own hometown, I can show you monuments that I can see from an 80-meter distance, clear as day, and I can show you monuments that you cannot see until you're on top of it. And what that is, and what infuriates me about it, is there is no way they went to every monument in the entire world and said, the average is 40 meters. They had to make a decision. They made it at 40 and said, okay, here's our justification for it, which is not a great justification because of two things. One, there are plenty of examples where you can see it and you can't. And two, it's not a barrier. It's not like I run into a force field at 40 meters and can't get any closer. If I want to interact with that item, guess what? I can make the choice to get closer and see it. You know what I don't need? I don't need to get closer to the Buddhist temple that I have passed by, that's 1 block from my house, that I have passed every day for 5 years that this game has been out. I don't need to explore it at 40 meters anymore. I've seen it. What am I seeing that's new? Nothing. We are 5 years into this game. People will explore when they're out in the world looking for new things. The reason that, it's 40 minutes and that's the ideal thing is false and easily disproven. Two, I get to make the choice. I get to get closer if I want to. So how about, which is what we've complained about all the time, incentivize me to get closer. Make it so that I get one set of rewards at 80 meter and a different set of rewards at 40 and maybe a different set of rewards when I'm closer and actually interacting with it. Like I understand 5 years ago you had to make a choice, but that choice it's 5 years later. People are in their hometown. You actually have to run research to get people to go out and find new locales because we haven't been able to travel for 2 years. People who have probably explored all of their city multiple times in the 5 years that they played this game. It is such a limiting idea, and what it is a thing that I run into corporations all the time. It's why it enrages me, because it's like we had to make a decision. This is the decision we made, and we've never thought about it again.
Yeah,
and it's infuriating because again, I can get closer. I can get if something I've never seen before and I can't see it at the 80-meter distance, I get to walk closer and find it. What also happens is sometimes they're in locked buildings and I can't get in there because it's locked.
Yeah.
You need to report that Pokestop and have them remove it. What if they came back and they said, no, we've actually done scientific research and discovered that 40 meters is the tipping point where if we set it at 40 meters, then the majority of people will go and investigate and look at the thing that is the Pokestop.
Be transparent with your studies.
I will say that, like, I see where they're coming from in the sense of I have explored new areas of Milwaukee because of this game. So, like, I have never walked down this street, or I didn't know this building was here, and that is purely because of Pokemon Go. So, like, the logic of, like, well, you know, you can see it here, you can't see it here, this is why we agreed on the distance. This is what I told them. And I think Greg and I kind of shared the same thought here, is I said to them, I don't care if it's 40 or 80. I want to be rewarded for exploring, and I don't feel like I am getting rewarded for exploring. If I can sit on my couch and spin 2 Pokestops and pop an incense and catch a bunch of Pokemon and remote into 14 raids this week and not leave my house, why would I? If you want people, if the core of your game is walking and getting people to go out, why do I feel like I am not getting anything more than the people sitting on their couch? So, like, to me, it doesn't matter if it's 40 or if it's 80 or if it's 20. If your game is rewarding me for going out and exploring, I will go to that Pokestop and I will walk past it, and I will then keep walking because I want the rewards you're giving me. Mm-hmm. And they took down the notes and everything. Yeah. I will say that, like, there are other content creators in that meeting, and the thing that kind of stood out to me is a couple of them said, like, no one leaves or goes out because of Pokestops, so just make it 80. And I thought that was kind of weird because I feel like sometimes hardcore players get in this mindset of, like, well, I've explored my city a million times and I don't care about the horse statue down the street at PF Chang's. It's like, yeah, I mean, I get it. You don't care because you live there. But the reason I have explored is literally because that Pokestop has a ring that I've never been to. And so I'm going to walk to it because I want to, because I know I haven't been there because the ring is there, and I want the experience. And I would assume that these, like, maybe the ones, I'm not going to say who they were. Maybe they were battle-heavy people, so they don't care that much about exploring or catching. And they only care about GBL or raids. But I disagreed with. I mean, I didn't unmute myself on the call. There was a lot of people on the call, but I was like, but Pokestops are why I explore. I mean, like, if I've never been to it, I'm going to go to. Like, that's a reason for me to walk to it.
Here's the reality. I don't know a spot in Minnesota unless somebody submits something new that has something new that I don't have to travel half an hour to 45 minutes outside of this city for. There is nothing in Minneapolis, my neighborhood, the campus, uptown, that I have not visited in the last 5 years. And so the hunt for something new means I have to specifically say, I am going to go to a completely different area.
He means
and
my
now
neighborhood.
Try to find stuff that I haven't been to. And if it's anywhere between Minneapolis and the Mall of America, I've seen it. I've spun it. I've done it. I've walked around it. It's been 5 years of your game being out.
Yeah.
Unless I travel to Milwaukee, which I've done that. I did it on your wedding. I hit a bunch of stuff. Like, you can show me places I've never been to, but that is a trip I'm making. Yeah. And still, it doesn't alter the fact that the 80-meter distance is not preventative. It doesn't stop me from getting closer to the stop. Encourage me to get closer to the stop.
Right.
Give me better rewards for getting closer to the stop. Let me and your player base make choices based off of their own safety and what they feel, and reward people who play the game the way you want. What angers me about a lot of companies, and a lot of gaming companies do this, is they hard focus on how they absolutely feel the game should be played and won't budge off of it, even if it's been 15, 20 years. Like, no.
Well, I mean,
this is the way it is.
Yes, that is probably a roadblock or obstacle that game designers, you have to be able to self-identify of, like, yes, that's how you want the game to be played, but you actually have to look at how people are actually playing the game and adapt. That I will agree with you.
Well, I think the big takeaway from the meeting is, like, number one, if you're going to make choices, you have to be more transparent so people don't. The lack of transparency is why people speculate, oh, this is only about money, or, oh, like, Niantic only wants their dollar.
The problem with transparency, though, is then you give people a reason, like, to self-justify why they're leaving. If you leave it ambiguous, then they can say, I'm going to stay because I think I'm angry about this, but since I'm not sure that's what I'm angry about, I'll stay. But if they specifically, like, give you a reason and you're like, oh, that is the reason why I'm angry, then I'm out, and they go.
But the other thing that I felt like this meeting was you haven't even looked. Your game was the same, not the same, but a lot of things in Pogo for the last 5 years were decisions made on, like, the first year of the game, like Adventure Sync. Adventure Sync, like, and I did say this this was part 2 of what I said. I only spoke for, like, I mean, it was an hour meeting. I only spoke for, like, 2 minutes because the third takeaway I had from the Niantic meeting is people say a lot in a Zoom call, and they say very little.
Yeah.
They talk a
Yes,
lot.
It's
Yeah.
called, I use a lot of words to say very little. Yes.
And it's like, wow, you just wasted 10 minutes of this meeting, and you could have said one sentence. So the second thing I said is, I feel like I'm a hardcore player in Pokemon Go. I have only hit the 50 kilometers in the last 5 years, maybe a dozen times. How many weeks in a year? 52? It's every week, so 12 out of, 200 weeks.
What you are doing wrong, or what am I doing that's so extraordinary?
You walk a lot. I've started walking again. I've been doing my daily constitutionals, so I'm getting closer to hitting those parts. But yeah, you walk a lot. I see it on my
I would
watch.
say that I probably hit like 35 a week. So I get the 25 reward, which is no one cares. No one cares about the egg with Cranidos in it. And there's nothing in that game that's driving me to walk to get the 50 ever. And when I did hit the 50, it just reminds me of how much of a disappointment it is to get it. Like, again, if you want your game, like, they've said this again, and, people were mad about, like, Go Fest of, like, one of the tasks was, walk 1 kilometer. Their game is about walking. I'm sorry. They've said it. We've said it. That's what it is. If you want to play on the couch and not ever leave your house, you can. But their game is about walking, and they've made it pretty clear over the last 5 years that, look, that's what you're signing up for. It's like,
I mean, I do think that it is unfair to say that some of the people who are complaining about the walking requirements are just wanting to sit on their couch. Because
Sure.
there's a number of people who cannot complete that task. They just can't, for mobility reasons, for a ton of reasons. So let's be real. Some of the people who are upset is legitimate. This is an impossible task for me, and you made it a vital part of this. It wasn't optional. I get why they're mad. It's easy to say, oh, they just want to sit on the couch. There's a whole section of people who want to play this game that cannot do those things. They need to remember that it's a game about walking. It's also a Pokemon game, and there's a lot of people that can't necessarily do those walking things easy, and that does need to be on their radar.
and a lot of those people started playing because of the COVID changes.
Correct.
Totally understand. What was that? Oh, yeah. We were talking about the I think the word somebody else used in the meeting was the game needs to be more additive to
I agree.
Versus like what they did was like remove features pretty much for everyone. So that whoever said that the game needs to be more additive, 1,000,000% agree with you. Also, I said a lot of words and I really said nothing, but really I could have just said, hey, make your game more additive. There we go. We're here.
Well, I mean, it's helpful to give concrete ideas of what you think that should be, right? Like, it's one thing to say, hey, make it more additive, but be able to say, like, hey, when I mean additive, I want rewards to happen at certain things that reward me for these behaviors. It's good to be clear.
Or understand one of the key rules of customer service of once you start giving something away, you can't take it back.
And also, I do want to, like, I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but there were people in that meeting, other content creators and whatnot, saying things about their communities and what they do that I just disagree with. Like the whole Pokestop thing of like, no one cares about Pokestops. Just make it 80. No one's going to Pokestops because they want to see a horse statue. Fundamentally, I just disagree with that.
I mean, me as an individual, I enjoy looking at the Pokestops, especially like when I'm sending gifts out to people and I see like the Pokestops that they're sending me and the ones that I'm sending out to them. And I'm like, oh, I don't remember passing that.
Like when I went to the art park with you guys, and before I met you guys, that's how I explore. I was like, oh, we're walking to the spaceship. That's cool. Okay, what's this over here? Okay, we're walking to the gnome under the tree. Like, that is how I explored that park, and it was a great way to explore that park. So I guess like that leads into like, I can kind of see why companies in general don't listen to their fan bases, even though their fan bases are vocal, because literally in this meeting, some people just were like, no one does this. And I'm sitting here being like, no, people do this. Like, don't listen. Unmute my mic. Don't listen to that guy. He's
I mean, it is always a balancing act of what feedback is good and what feedback is bad. And it is always hard to determine what percentage that person represents. But generally, if more than one person agrees with it, there is a larger segment of your customer base that also feels that way and should be considered. And when you have conflicting information, then yeah, you need to make a decision about how you think the game should be played. But overall, like, one of the things is, I don't think anybody disagreed with, like, the extended stop distance was good for everybody, and they were real mad when it went away. Like, that's a clear message. How you solve for X can be open for interpretation. But, yeah, there's a ton of people who can't afford to travel, have visited everything in their house. A new Pokestop is not, going to see Pokestops that they've seen 1,000 times is not a draw for them to go into that area again.
Totally. And there are people who have one Pokestop in their town, and they've always had one Pokestop in their town. So, yeah, I get it for that person in that town with one Pokestop. That Pokestop probably not a draw to them. They're probably very well aware of what it is.
I know
and they've probably been to it a lot.
I probably put it there.
So, I mean, Niantic apologized to us. They said, like, we made the decision to go back. We learned that it was the wrong decision, and we spent however long they spent, like, 3 weeks talking about what was the right decision, which I don't know. Like, I mean, in retrospect, the right decision is like, we'll just reverse it. But I'm sure they were talking about, like, do we make it 60? Do we make it 70? Do we do only gyms? Do we only do stops? Do we do 100? I'm sure that was all talked about. And it probably just, as easy as it was to say, well, it worked for 4 years, let's go back to it. It was probably easy to say, we'll just go back to 80.
Yes.
Well, but also, at least give Niantic some acknowledgement and gratitude that they are willing to reflect on the question and make changes, even if we don't like the first decision, even if we don't like the change that they make. At least they're willing to do so.
Look, I just went back to Destiny 2, and
Yeah,
some of
thanks
the
for telling me. I heard that, and you didn't invite me. I heard that.
so literally these are dumb decisions, but they were really little things. But my favorite class was the gunslinger class in Destiny, and in Destiny 1, your golden gun lasted like 8 seconds, and your trip mines stuck to enemies and to other players. So in like Crucible, that was really good. And in Destiny 2, they were like, trip mines no longer stick. Golden gun no longer lasts 8 seconds. You got like 2.5 seconds. Good luck. You better have good aim. And those two changes were enough to be like, I am no longer having fun with Destiny.
Yeah.
And there were obviously other reasons. And for a lot of Pokemon Go players, it's just not this. It's just not the radius. It's the radius plus this and plus this and plus this. And I went back to Destiny 2 this week after my wife was like, please, I want to try Destiny again. And 5 years later, my golden gun is normal. They went back. It took them 5 years. They fixed the trip mine. Trip mine now sticks to enemies again. So like, if anything, hey, Niantic only took 3 weeks. Bungie took 5 years to make these changes. So I have had plenty of meetings with Niantic. And the people that I talk to, I always leave those meetings optimistic. I don't know if it's the Pokemon Company. I don't know if it's Google. I don't know if it's Nintendo. I don't know if it's like one specific boss that works at Niantic. But the people I talk to, they love the game so much. They're so optimistic about it. They're so excited with these changes that are rolling out. They want to get our feedback of what we think about things that they are working on. And I don't have any like super big secrets. Like I found out like even in the meeting with Niantic about the change, like when I left that meeting, they didn't say they said they were going to change it, but they didn't give us a date. They were like, we regret the 40. We're going to change it. We don't know what we're going to change it to. We don't know when. And then lo and behold, like 2 days later, they changed it. And there's another change on September 1st. So I don't know what that is. But hopefully it's something good. In all,
I'm going to tell you as an employee of another company, I can definitely muster up excitement when I'm talking about my own company that I don't really feel.
Yep.
But I love Pokemon Go. I want Pokemon Go to be the best game there is. I hope that whatever they say on September 1st is like, hey, we're fixing Adventure Sync, we want to make it more fun. Like, I just hope that this 40 and 80 debate or problem or issue or mistake, whatever you want to classify it, I kind of am glad that it happened, because I think everyone, whether it's a company or just a person, they like need sometimes they need something tragic to be like, we should really reflect on this, or the things that things that we just took for granted for 4 years. We should actually look at them and say like, hey, the world is different. The game is different. Our players are different, and we should change them.
One would hope
tragic, maybe not the best word.
a global pandemic would have brought about these decisions, and it did. What the sign of a very mid-sized company is, you don't have a lot of voices in those meetings, and I think that shows in a lot of their decisions. I think Niantic still has we're a tiny company trying to do good, and hasn't wrestled with the fact that you're a very large company that a lot of people are watching now. You may not have a lot of employees, but you're playing with the big boys, and you are no longer able to be like, oops, we're just little people, we didn't think about it. Like, you have to get on board with what millions of other companies that do vital services, or that a lot of people are into, is you really have to be in touch with your customer base. You have to get better communication. You have to understand that you can't see yourself as this little underdog anymore when you're making $2.5 million a month.
A lot of money. Yeah, I agree. When Pokemon Go is good, it's really good.
I agree with that. For as much as the game frustrates me, when we're having fun, I love it.
And then there's moments like
burning
the last
towards 40, or when I'm just walking through my neighborhood and suddenly I can't get to a gym. like, nah, I'm pretty mad at you right now.
Yeah, it's. I mean, and it's. I think it's easier to be frustrated with it because it's on your phone and you're in the real world and you can just swipe it, close, and move on, versus sitting on your couch or in front of your
And
computer.
also,
playing.
if your GPS was better and didn't shoot me all over the city, giving
All
me
right.
extra distance to maybe get there would be help.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. I mean, I thought Niantic was pretty transparent. I think when they told us their thought process, I was like, this makes sense, even though I don't agree with you. But at least your company is, at least your company is doing something.
At least they're trying. Yes.
But yeah, we'll see what the September 1st stuff is. I hope it's more. I hope it's exciting. I hope it's like, hey, we're fixing XYZ. We're putting.
Oh, they're bringing out Pokemon Z finally. Yes.
Niantic is the lead developer of Pokemon Z for the
Pokemon
Nintendo
Z.
Switch. That's what they've been working on for 5 years. All right, we'll take a break. We're going to talk about Pokemon Masters on the when we get back, and then question of the week, Pokemon of the week. So we will be right back. No? Oh, they're here. What is happening? Did you guys see that? Wait a minute. Did you see that one, Champ? Did you guys see that? Was that just me? That was so scary. And we are back from our break. All right, this is off Pokemon.com. Pokemon Masters EX 2-year anniversary event has new sync pairs and more. So we were talking 2 weeks ago about what could they possibly do that would be better than Leon.
And the answer was nothing.
Nah, these are good.
What? They're
Okay.
great.
They're very good, but literally none of these blow Leon out of the water. Leon in that Sigma suit is the greatest thing that they have put into that game. These are good, but they do not reach that bar.
I think the internet would disagree with you on Lily.
There
They
you go.
are.
Yes.
Yeah, I am not interested in Lillie. Let's be clear. I have made that very clear on this program. I am not. Lillie and I can go shopping for clothing, and I support her in her choices, but I am down to hang out a lot with Leon Sigma suit.
All right, so we have Misty and Psyduck, Lily and Lunala, N and Reshiram, and Steven and Rayquaza are all arriving with the opportunity to collect gems and scout tickets. It is party time on Pasio as Pokemon Masters EX celebrates its 2-year anniversary. To mark this auspicious occasion, there is a wide variety of special events, new sync pairs, login bonuses, and the return of classic story events. In addition to all the fun festivals, the game's level cap, this is the worst part about the whole announcement, the game's level cap will increase to level 140. Check out the excitement that's in store for the anniversary event. Okay, so first we have the Hearts United event, which the festival kicks off with the new Hearts United event story, which runs from August 27th through September 29th. Lear is putting on a special battle event with Lily, N, and Steven as hosts. The question is, which of the opponents of these 3 trainers will be selected to battle? By completing the mission, you can earn up to 1,300 gems. You will face extreme competition in the Unity Gala Challenge, in which you will take on Lear, Rachel, and Sawyer with your sync pairs. Keep checking to the Hearts United event. New areas will appear as the celebration goes on. Here's a hint. You will need fighting type sync pairs for battle.
Flying.
Okay, so then they did the Misty in a swimsuit. Finally, it's been 2 years. We get swimsuit Misty. I'm still waiting for swimsuit Ramos, but one day.
Hey, I have hope.
So Misty and Psyduck. Longtime Pokemon fans will be excited with the arrival of the sync pair from August 27th through October 15th. You can enjoy the event starring the Cerulean City Gym Leader and the lovable Psyduck. Completing this event will let you team up with Psyduck, and you can raise this sync pair. So this is free. You don't have to pull her. You just have to.
I didn't realize that she wasn't a pull. You just need to complete the story and then keep completing the story to get enough tickets to raise her level. But yeah. She's pretty much completely free.
She's also Hop and Zamazenta are free if you're new to the game. So new sync pairs, a trio of new sync pairs making their debut from August 27th through September 29th. 3 Pokemon trainers in these sync pairs are returning characters sporting cool anniversary outfits. Each one is paired with a new legendary partner. So you have Lillie, Anniversary 2021, with Lunala, and Anniversary 2021 with Reshiram, and Steven, Anniversary 2021 with Rayquaza. For what it's worth, the Rayquaza is shiny.
Yeah. Shiny Raymond Quasar is here with his pal, Steven.
Want to add even more sync pairs to your squad from September 29th until September 29th, so literally a whole month. You can log into Pokemon Masters EX for 10 days to receive 10 pair scout tickets each day. These tickets will let you be used in the special 10 pair scout, which can be found in the ticket scout within the shop. As you might expect, 10 pair scout tickets will allow you to scout 10 sync pairs, which means you can team up with 100 sync pairs totally for free. This was the big thing they showed during the Pokemon Presents. Yeah, and it is free. There is no catch.
It is free. I think it's bold of them with as many repeats as they give to say you'll be able to team up with 100 sync pairs. You will probably team up with 50 because you get a lot of repeats.
To be fair, not trying to defend, but if you're a new player to the game, you kind of want those duplicates to make sure they're 5 out of 5.
Oh yeah, but I think it's bold of them to say you can team up with 100 sync pairs. Nah, dog, you're not.
It's gonna be like 50 Ramos,
like
and then
50 Ramos and 20 Bryson Man, and then you'll get 1 5-star. So good luck.
Yeah, I mean, you have a 7% chance of every 10 pull to get a 5-star. You get to do it 10 times. I did see a bunch of people in our Discord and our Slack say like this was what got them to download the game. It's super smart marketing.
It's a very good deal.
You're getting your 100 sync pairs for free. You're logging into the game 10 times to get that for free. You're getting your gems for logging in. They had a 3,000 bonus for the 2-year anniversary. You still get the 3,000 bonus to celebrate like Pokemon Presents or whatever. So
I think so.
So if you're logging in, I believe you're getting like 6,000 gems for free, plus the 100 gems every day to celebrate, plus the 1,300 gems for doing the Misty the whatever. Plus there's other events that will give you gems. Mm-hmm. So again, if you're a new player, it's really hard to be bitter. I'm sure the bitterness will come when you pull nothing good.
Yeah.
But
yes, it will.
They're really rewarding both new players and returning players, which is awesome. I feel like a lot of games, they always like focus on new players, and the returning players are like, what am I? Like, I've been playing your game. Like, give me something too. I'm playing your game. But I think they're doing a really good job at both. They are returning some story events here. So from September 2nd through the 16th, you have the Girl in Black and White featuring Hilda and Tepig. From September 4th through the 16th, you have Material Mining, which features material evolutions for evolving Pokemon. From September 6th through September 16th, you have Lillie, Clefairy, Gladion, Silvally, Lusamine, and Pheromosa are coming to the Family Ties event. From September 8th through the 16th, you have the Volkner and Luxray. From September 10th through 16th, you have Lycia. How do you say her name? Lycia?
I think it's Lycia.
With Altaria, which I believe she's Steven Stone's sister?
Right? She is Wallace's niece.
And then you have from September 2nd through the 16th, you have the Ideal Formula, which features N and Zekrom. The thing they don't say here is that the Lillie, the Steven Stone, and the N banners are, what do they call them? They're called like, so the normal banner is a 7% chance of pulling a 5-star, and usually the trainer featured in that banner is like a 2%.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a 1 in 50 chance of pulling, percentage-wise. And then there's called a Fair Scout banner, which is instead of a 7% chance of getting a 5-star, you have a 10% chance of getting a 5-star. And then usually in that banner, the same thing. It's a 2% chance of getting what you want. These are like...
They are Master Fair Scouts.
Master Fair Scouts. So it's a 12% chance of getting a 5-star. But Lillie, Steven, and N are only a 1% chance. which this is not the first time they did it. They did this with Maxie and Archie, I believe. And one other they did it with, I think. But Maxie and Archie were the big, like, 1%.
So that's like 1 in 100.
That's 1 in 100. These outfits are really great, though.
But they're just outfits.
Steven Stone's is great. Lily's is very good. Ends is fine.
But it's just the outfit. There's no gameplay affecting.
Well, the
Pokemon are the gameplay.
Pokemon. So, judging by how they are, what they look to be, Lillie is actually probably the least powerful one of the group.
But
She's
probably
like a ghost.
Probably the best ghost.
But it's probably the best ghost. But Phoebe's the best ghost. Like, that tank and what Phoebe does, Lily's not going to hold a candle to that.
Yeah, but your best ghost type attacker is Morty.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Lily's Lunala is going to blow Morty out of the water.
Probably, but you don't really need ghost type attackers. From what I've seen, Steven and Rayquaza is almost as OP as Sycamore and Xerneas is, or Sigma
Well,
Suit
even
Leon
Steven and Metagross, I think, is still one of the best
Yeah.
units you can have. Like, Metagross is great.
From what I understand from looking into it, like you want Steven Stone, you want N, and then Lillie is probably going to be very good. But if you have to make a choice, you're going to go for Steven or N.
I was hoping the anniversary paid stuff would be better. It is like the best that it can be, but it's
the best they're going to do. I don't think it's the best it can be.
No, it could definitely be better. It is
Like,
the
it
best they're
definitely
going
be
to
better.
do. It is the same deal as the 1 year anniversary. It is like $80 for 1,400 gems, which is like the best they've ever done, but they could do better. Usually the thing, if you do want to give Masters money, your best bang for your buck is honestly the $1 for 300 gems, because that will give you, because normally it's $1 for 100 gems, and then sometimes they do like $1 for 150 gems, but the $1 for 300 gems, you get 3 daily scouts with that. That's probably, like, if you just want to give them a couple bucks and you just want a couple daily scouts, especially with like a 12% chance of 5-star, I think you can buy that like 3 times. So $3 will get you like 9 days of daily scout pulls. And it's not terribly expensive. It's probably more value than anything you're going to get in an incubator in Pogo. But I don't know. I was going like, what could be possibly better than Leon? And these 3 are pretty good.
They're good. They're not better, but they're good.
Nah,
It's a
they're
matter
good.
of perspective. It's
Lily's
subjective.
Lily's
am
outfit
telling you
is
now.
so great.
I'm staking
You know-
my claim.
You know, if Pokemon Masters needed anything to save their game, Anniversary
Mirror
Marnie.
B.
Anniversary Marnie.
Marnie.
All of
Oh,
Japan
yeah.
would go. All of
Abs-
Japan would be
yeah.
in debt.
I mean, they
For
did
whatever
they
reason,
did
Marnie is like #1 in
But
Japan.
they did Summer Suit Marnie, and Summer Suit Marnie
Yeah, that's true.
is an amazing pair. Like, Grimmsnarl is so good in the game.
But when you put that word anniversary in front of it, it's all over.
I mean, people like Summer as much as they like anniversaries.
Yeah.
What they needed was, and surprise, Mirror B. And
Mirror
then
B.
nobody would be able to resist.
Look, if Niantic can listen to us, DNA,
Give me Mirror B and
give me
Ludicolo.
the Mirror B. Mirror B and Ludicolo. Not in the game yet.
Not in
They're
the game.
saving that.
Save it up for the 2.5 year anniversary.
You know, you look at these 3 sync pairs and you go, what can top this? What are they going to do for the 3-year anniversary?
I mean, we'll have another generation out by then, maybe. No.
Yeah.
They'll bring forward the Legends of Arceus people brought through time.
We need the
We are getting Chairman Rose, so Swimsuit Rose.
Swimsuit Rose. We never got Beach Giovanni, which was in the anime.
We have not gotten Beach Giovanni yet. That is a back pocket.
That is a back pocket. Hey, somebody sent in an email about the they work in a museum and it was really really good. Remind me, we'll do that next week because the
Does
show's
this have
too
to
long.
do with Pokemon Masters?
Oh, I was thinking of Arceus. Sorry.
Hmm.
The Sinnoh region and the Hisui region.
Okay.
They had some thoughts and as being a historian, they wanted to share their perspective. It was a really good email. So remind me, we'll cover that next week.
Just remember, listeners, Steve forgets about email.
I do
for
forget about email.
years. And
If
then
you want
suddenly
my
he's like,
deep dive, remind me. I'll give you the real details.
I think it's a good look. I think this is probably the best time you can try Masters, and you can probably walk away from it being like, I like it, or it's not for me.
Yep.
Because you get so many sync pairs. There's a lot of events going on. They're giving a bunch of free stamina.
They brought back a lot of events that give you good free sync pairs. So, you can get caught up pretty easy. I am not thrilled with the 140 level cap, but whatever.
Yeah, and honestly, most of my sync pairs are 120, 125 because I didn't even get to the point where when they moved from 125 to 130, I was like, I'm not doing this right now. And the game is playable. It's fine. I will say, if you're a new player, there's it says something like hard or super hard or ultra hard. You don't have to do that ultra hard content to enjoy the game. It seems like you do because it's like a step ladder, but the ultra hard content is designed for the actual hardcore people. So don't feel bad if you're not doing it. I can't even remember the last time I did an ultra hard and I was like, boy, this felt worth it. It does have a nice reward most of the time, but
it's not a necessary reward.
Don't feel like, oh, I'm bad at this game because I can't do that content is designed for people who live and breathe this game. Yep. And if you're just logging in every day and spending your stamina and just pulling, that content's not for you. Don't feel bad if you can't do it.
Yeah,
just do something else.
Most sync pairs on their sync grid are great at 3 out of 5. You can get through the content. You don't need, and a lot of them, you don't need more than 3 for a lot of them to get everything you need out of their sync grid. So it is really truly one of the games where this is the hardcore content and it is for hardcore. The Hop event is the first time I've ever done the ultra hard, ever. It was yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah, and even the sync grid stuff, almost all that story stuff you do, don't even have to touch sync grid.
Nope.
Yep, just power up the couple that you really like, and yeah, I think it's fun. And then at a certain point, you'll be like, please let me auto battle.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, I think Pokemon Masters EX is in a real good place right now. Surprisingly, compared to other of their mobile games, goodbye Rumble Rush, goodbye Pokemon Duel.
Rest in peace.
Question of the week.
Question of the week. Yeah, go ahead and ask that question. Pulled from submissions found on the YouTube and Slack.
This is...
You have time to
Wow.
prepare for this.
It must be a deep question.
I'm just trying to see what I'm in the mood to answer.
Oh, I see how you are.
I like Brandon's. Do you prefer a Pokemon game that is set in the past period like Johto or Legends, modern era, or future period? Personally, I would like to see a hyper-futuristic take on Pokemon.
Yeah, I want them all. I would play all of them.
I'm the same as Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes to past, yes to future, yes to modern.
I want to
love
see
seeing the
Pokemon on
timeline.
other planets. I want to
Yeah.
Pokemon Mars visit.
Yep.
Yes.
I want space Pikachu in a helmet and shoots lightning out of a laser gun. Yes, these are the things that I want. I want these.
I opened up a bunch of Digimon cards, and one of the gimmicks in Digimon at one point was fusions. They'll take like 2 Digimons and they fuse together. And Reshiram, Kyurem, Zekrom, they exist. I get it. they're here. But that has to be a gimmick one day of like Charizard and Mewtwo, two of the most popular Pokemon, like fuse those together. I want to see that. They did that in the anime with the like, it was like a flashback or whatever, or like an illusion, but like the Venus toys, where they took the Venusaur and the Blastoise. So whatever, if it's modern, past, or future,
I mean,
give me
that's future stuff right there.
that's future. Give me the fusions. I want that gimmick.
That's some cyberpunk, wild fusion. Play with the genes. You got your entire race of people that have fused with Venusaur DNA, and so they're plant people and they run around. I'm into it.
Isn't okay? So in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, there's the alternative timeline where every bad guy wins what they need to win, and then Giovanni transfers them into the place.
Right.
And then, like,
wait a minute. I don't think they won what they needed to win. I think
which
that they
was
were
true
just,
happiness because
like,
they're chasing
snatched
impossible
out
dreams.
of their timeline, like right before their bitter defeat.
oh, okay.
Or like it.
Yeah.
And at one point, spoilers for the end of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. At one point, Colress like zaps in and then grabs Getsis and then zaps out. Right? That happens.
I kind of remember that, yes.
So I need the futuristic Pokemon game where Colress is somewhere there. I feel like Colress is the one that's involved in that.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, our question from YouTube is from Void of Sin. I like this one a lot, although we kind of answered it on the Patreon bonus podcast, but
I wasn't on
I wasn't there.
you guys weren't there. They say, why do you think the graphics complaint started? I grew up with Pokemon, and not once did I ever think about the games looking graphical masterpieces, or cared that they did. I don't think the 3DS games look good. I find it bizarre when people say Sword and Shield look worse than Sun and Moon. I also find that bizarre. Why do people care about appearance? Why do appearance matter so much to people nowadays?
I blame Steve.
Same.
Okay.
Easy answer.
No.
The easy answer is like, this is all of video games, though. It doesn't matter if it's Pokemon or Halo or Call of Duty. Like the graphic, like this is what I said. Here's a spoiler for the Patreon thing. I remember being in high school, being on the Nintendo forums when Nintendo had their own official forum, like the official Nintendo forums. And most threads on that forums were nonstop people comparing Nintendo games to the Xbox 360, because the Xbox 360 was coming out and the King Kong game was like the graphical powerhouse that was showing. It was just day in and day out of Nintendo fans saying their graphics don't matter because we got the better games and the Xbox looks better, but their games are darker. Like, this conversation has existed before the Nintendo forums and well after the Nintendo forums.
Well, I mean, I will say that it existed back when the hardware was garbage. Like the Intellivision versus Atari conversations that we had back in the day are the same conversations we're having now.
ColecoVision, even.
ColecoVision, which I had. I love ColecoVision. So there's a couple of things. I don't think we can get past the sort of gatekeepy tribal aspect of it, right? Like, it starts with the I am an Xbox person and therefore I'm going to pick the things that I like and argue that that's better. And you're going to get these arguments of this is better, X is better, because this is the brand they identify with. And so, like, a huge chunk of it is gatekeepy, intertribal garbage. Fine. I think what we've also run into is we have crossed the technology barrier where a lot of things that we didn't think were possible are now very much possible. And we can do them in our hand. So it's hard to translate easily for a lot of people who grew up in a high technology society who aren't necessarily fully aware of how bad it was, to sort of grasp, like, why can't everything be at X quality? Because my phone can do it, and it's tiny, it's in my hand. And it's harder to see because we've made so many advancements, how different hardware powers and different priorities come into play. It's a very nuanced conversation that doesn't work on the internet. Period. Like,
well, so that argument, that's what I call the all the factors argument. It's where if you're only looking skin deep, you can say, well, if this game could do it, then that game can do it. But you're not looking at all the factors.
yeah.
Right? That there's maybe a lot of data weight to the way that the gameplay is designed that takes away from the space available to hold graphic capabilities.
Or music, or
music, or
yes. So there are
5
trade-offs
million
to
Pokemon
be made.
moves.
I also would want to say, like in line with what Greg was saying about tribal, there's another thing that since we don't participate in this and we tend to kind of ignore it, is it kind of goes in line with when I was younger and I wouldn't listen to like Mariah Carey or Madonna because that's the music everybody else listened to, and I could only listen to bands that you had never heard of because that makes me a better person, right? It's and it's like the inverse of that. All the cool people are crapping on the graphics, even though when I watched that thing, I never even thought of the graphics. But wait a minute, this cool dude that I look up to on the internet is now saying how terrible those graphics are. I'm going to latch onto that argument so I can be like the cool dude, because that's obviously the cool dude's argument, whether I actually care about the graphics or not.
Or ever cared before.
Yes, that is an argument that I like, right, for me. And I have, you know what? Go through the history of this podcast. You can get quotes from me saying 100 times, 1,000 times, I used to play a game where it was one square shooting a tiny square at another square, and my imagination filled in the details. I am happy with whatever you give me now.
It's also hard to get out of negative opinions get more attention than positive opinions.
Yes.
It's very easy to find a lot of negative opinions on the internet, and they draw your attention. They make you feel emotions more than positive takes do. So it is our natural inclination to find the things that are negative and say, hey, these are the things that, because being negative gets me attention. Like, there's a whole slew of reasons why this conversation comes up.
But
and it's really hard to define.
There are
the
some people that
validity of
genuinely care about graphics, though,
Yeah,
right?
and there are.
Yeah, like, to be fair, like, some people, they want a good-looking game because that's what they want, and that's totally fair.
And it is hard to divine out what they mean by good looking. Like, I had this conversation after 3 hour, like, what do you consider good looking? Like, what
Wind Waker.
exactly do you want it to be? And the conversation gets very muddy because people don't define their terms. And so it's very hard to not have two separate conversations because you're not being specific. Like, you're saying, I want graphics to be better, but you're not defining what you consider the
What does better mean?
graphics to be.
It's like, are you
And what does
angry
better
about the
be?
watercolor art style, or are you angry because the edges aren't smooth? Right?
Like, that's an important thing to divine out of the conversation. And I had to have that conversation with a lot of people. Like, what exactly don't you like? What do you want to be better? Because that helps shape whether I agree or disagree with you. But it's really easy to say graphics are bad. And in what way? How?
Hey, I said why.
Eh.
I wasn't into that ground. I wasn't into that water.
It's also not finished.
It's the textures. It's the textures.
It's the textures.
I mean, and my argument to people back was like, we mocked people for the tree argument for 2 years. I'm not going to have a water argument. I'm not going to fall into the same trap like the trees are unfinished, the water is unfinished. Like, it's not an argument I'm having because they're not done.
Oh, the trees were never done.
Trees will never be done.
If we go back to the tree argument, the game Sword and Shield ended up looking better, of course, except the trees. The other thing is like people it is weird to me where people are like, oh, the like Sun and Moon look better than Sword and Shield. They're just out of their minds. They just want to make those like claim. Like there were people that are like, well, Pokemon Masters looks better than Sword and Shield, and it's like, yeah, but also Pokemon Masters is like 3D Pokemon, and it's just the same Pokemon models as Sword and Shield, but like all the backgrounds in Masters is like 2D
Static.
flatness.
Real basic.
Static.
Yeah, they're like static backgrounds. Like you're not moving around in the Pokemon Center in Masters. You're just looking at everyone standing there.
Who are also not moving.
Right.
It's really weird. I am worried that like X and Y and Sun and Moon will start looking very, very bad. Like how Nintendo 64 games don't hold up anymore. But that doesn't really happen with like Red and Blue or like Black and White because they're pixel in a way, so they look exactly how they look. I don't know. I don't think pixel art age. Like I don't think Super Nintendo games or NES games age as poorly as Nintendo 64 games.
I would disagree. They look real bad.
Yeah, they do.
Like-
You ever tried
like-
Ice Climbers?
Like, take your nostalgia glasses off.
No,
and you'll be
Stardew
like,
Valley.
they look
Stardew
bad.
Valley looks incredible, and it's designed to look like a Super Nintendo game.
It's designed to look that way, but it's not.
Like Link to the Past,
It takes
incredible looking.
It takes the influence of it and puts it in that retro art style, but it is not using just 16 bits. It is not using just 8 bits. Like you can say, and this is the argument I've been having, it was done in a retro art style, and they did that to appeal to that style. But that is not a 16-bit game. Not by half. Like, you are talking about two different aspects. 8-bit games look terrible. They couldn't do better than 8-bit games.
I think the original Super Mario Brothers and the original Legend of Zelda on the NES, I think they look good.
Yeah, but they were
for what they
pushing
are.
the limits of those systems, man.
They were, but I think
mean-
they're like
They do not look good.
I am sure there are a handful of Super Nintendo games that look awful, but I think like Donkey Kong Country, I think Legend of Zelda, I think Yoshi's Island, like I feel like all those games hold up graphically. I think Wind Waker holds up graphically. I don't think Gale of Darkness or Coliseum hold up graphically because they are Nintendo 64 games ported to the GameCube and then run over with a mud truck to like hide or like to try to smooth things out. They look pretty bad. I think Stadium does look pretty bad now. I think GoldenEye, I don't even know how anyone can play GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64 anymore. Like, geez, that looks awful. But I think there are games that capture a style. I'm not actually sure if it's style or graphics or what you want to call it, but it ages very well. And I think Wind
So,
Waker is the game that has aged perfectly.
Wind Waker picked a very cartoony art style.
Yes.
Which was a good choice because it helped keep them within the limits of what graphics could do. And that's my point. That game holds up because they went with a very distinct art style that feels more timeless. But that was a choice of making that world. It's the argument people have between World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy. Both require the same level of graphic cards. They look very different. One is cartoony, one is hyper-realistic, and you're drawn to one of the two styles. But they both burn your CPU at just as much power and will stress your graphics card out. It is a hard conversation to have because you have to define what you're talking about. And I don't think like the original Zelda game with the shooty sword looks good by any modern standards.
No, but you fill
looks
it in
like-
with your imagination.
Yeah, it looks like an old game. Like we all played. I don't know if you ever played the game, adventure game, where the dragon looked like a duck. Like I have fond memories
No,
of
but that sounds
game.
awesome.
But it is an awful game. It is graphically terrible. And when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, it's awful, but I loved it as a kid. Like, it's a
Because the
very
gameplay was so good.
The gameplay was great. And you got chased by a giant dragon duck.
Yeah.
I'm into
Duck
this
dragon.
duck. Okay, here, real simple question. This is from Caden. Since apparently everything is on the table since Basculin, of all Pokemon got an Evo, which Pokemon do you think either in Legends or Games I've had would get one?
Should get one?
Should get one?
What Pokemon do you think should get more love either in Legends or Games ahead?
Oh, I see.
So Stantler got an evolution, Basculin got an evolution. Give me a Pokemon.
Ice
Miraculous.
Cube.
Delibird.
Not
Oh.
Delibird.
You know what I want?
You're gonna say
I want
Dunsparce.
a Dunsparce
Yeah.
evolution.
I'm going to say
Hardcore.
Maractus.
I already said Maractus. I took it from you. Say something
No,
else.
you said Dunsparce.
I said Maractus first because I knew that's what you were going to
What'd you say, Will? Ice Cube?
Ice Cube.
Oh, Ice Cube absolutely would be a cutie.
No, it turns
can I do
into
a
an ugly
pre-evolution?
thing.
I really think I'm going to die on this hill. I want
Miracle.
a cat. I want a baby cow. If it's female, it evolves into Miltank. If it's male, it evolves into Tauros.
Yeah.
Baby
And if-
cow.
And if you give it
I was just going to say, if it's non-binary, it evolves
Yeah.
into Buffalant.
turns into Buffalant. If you give
What's
it
baby cow called? Calf?
Yes, sir.
me a
veal in
calf.
some circuits.
Yeah,
right,
Veal
Pokemon-
spelled V-E-E-L.
Pokemon of the week.
All right, last week's Pokemon was talking about Sinnoh, bringing that up, and the fact that they added a heck ton of new evolutions akin to the question we just had for Pokemon that previously did not have evolutions. And then I said the causes of those new evolutions that were introduced in those games. Some had to evolve while knowing a particular move. Some had to be exposed to a held item. Some had to evolve in a special location, at least at that time. And some had to be holding a razor/item at night. It was none of those. And then there was one other way that you could evolve a Pokemon, which has been around since Generation 1. Except it had to do this while holding something. And then that's all you need. That's all you need. I gave all the information. Who's that Pokemon?
It's
Chatot.
yep.
Chatot
Ooh, Chatot
doesn't
should get an
evolve.
evolution.
Chatot holding a leaf.
Chatot is in Hisui. It was in the art for Legends Arceus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Chatot is in there, yeah.
It's Dusclops.
Dusclops is correct. So everybody who guessed Dusknoir, you don't understand how evolution works.
I mean, to be fair, I wrote down Dusk Noir to remind me on a piece of paper that I wanted the one before it.
Sorry, I didn't have this pulled up.
Dusclops. It is a
know the
combination of the word dusk and clops.
Cyclops. It only has one eye.
One eye.
Very good competitively.
There's not
Very
a
good
lot of
shiny too.
trivia.
Man, its shiny is so good in Gen 5, and then once it gets to Gen 6, it's so bad. How did they mess up colors?
How? How indeed. Very good shuffle icon. Good shiny up to a point. Like, we're just not going to talk about it. It just makes us sad.
Maybe the Switch 2 will have better color profiles.
Switch 2. The next console to come out of Nintendo is the Swatch.
Yeah. Handheld.
All right, what
Changeable
about next
bands.
week?
All right. As I continue my journey through Galar in my all-shiny playthrough of Pokemon Shield, I have noticed that the relatively ubiquitous Helper Pokemon has a divergent audible vocalization from what appears on the screen. The written words make it appear as if it is trying to speak English. This Pokemon, much like its Colossian cousin Meowstic, can have both a different appearance and ability based on its presumed gender. That's all. That's it. That's everything you need.
Jeez, I wasn't ready for that.
Eyes is super short.
In and out. Bam, bam.
All right, speaking of in and out, we're done. Thanks for listening.
Animal style.
If you want to follow Greg on Twitter, it is at White Wing. If you want Will to block you on Twitter, it is at Wash in the Sink.
Yep, very easy, not hard to do.
If you want me on Twitter, it is at Dragging a Lake. Thanks for listening. Thanks for making it to the end of the show. And thanks for, existing. I appreciate you.
We
existing.
appreciate you, except for Will. Will does not appreciate you.
That
That is
very
not true. Their existence can continue so long as I don't have to see them on Twitter. Thank you.
Twitch.tv/PKMNcast, PKMNcast on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everything, all that stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, question of the week, you can leave it down below. You can you can subscribe, you can do all the YouTube things. I read all your YouTube comments, so thank you. I read everything in the Slack and the Discord of the podcast. I love reading that kind of stuff, so don't stop believing. I'm tired. End of the show. Thank you for listening. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
Super effective.
Super handcrafted.
handcrafted.
Also,